Okay, hi everyone. Actually, today, welcome to Azure Heroes, the continuous the micro sessions, Azure sessions. Okay, so today, like we are going to talk about the introduction to Azure data services. Okay, so this is part of our, the Azure series web session, webinar sessions. So today we will be mostly concentrating on the data part on the Azure, the platform. Okay, so let us introduce ourselves. So myself, Gnana Balaji. So I'm working as the senior database consultant at the DR for past 4 years. I have a total of the around 13 years of experience on the database side, and also like I used to work on the Power BI and Office 365 products like SharePoint and Exchange, Power Flow, Power Apps, and like other parts as well. Okay, so that is the my introduction, and actually I have my colleague Mina also there, Mina Helkany. So he is also the database consultant. He is also working with my company, the oriented company. Okay, he also have the vast experience on the database side, like 17 years of experience, and also he is a part of the DBA side, and also he will be working on the data analyst side, like the Power BI and other stuffs as well. So once again, we welcome everyone to the session, and we will just get into the session now. Okay, so it is a quick agenda, like what are we are going to see about introduction. So and like Azure introduction. So what is the quick review of Azure, and what are the Azure solutions offered from the MS side, and what are the Azure data services overview. We will just see quickly. We will see what are the data service from the Azure point of view, and okay, so in today's session, we will be mostly focusing only on the SQL Server database, okay, which from the Azure side. So we will see, like how to create the Azure single database on the PaaS platform, like a platform as a service. Okay, and also we will be mostly seeing about Elastic Pool and managed instance, SQL Server managed instance, and also we will see Azure SQL Server VM, like how to create, the like on-premises VM, how we will be creating on the cloud, and how we will create the SQL Server and so on. And also after the like the slides are over, we will be going into the quick live demo, and like we will be presenting about the live scenarios. Okay, at the end of the session we will have a question and answers, and also in between, if you have any kind of question and answers, you can directly ask us. So like we will just like myself and Mina, we will be able to answer your questions. Okay, so we will jump into the another slide. Okay, Azure introduction. Fine. So what is Azure? Actually, everyone, in the IT, everyone would have heard about Azure, AWS, like other Google Cloud, something like that. Okay, so this is like the cloud computing platform. So Azure is a completely product from the Microsoft. Okay, so from the Microsoft, Azure is the complete product which is go live on 2010 actually. Okay, so from there Azure is there, and it is like the most of the and also around let's say in the market share we can say that 80% of the market share is for the Azure. Okay, so what are the solutions offered by the Azure is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and software as a service. Okay, these are the three solutions they offered from the Azure point of view. Okay, and this can be used for such as analytics and virtual computing, storage, networking, and much more. Okay, so but these things are like very short, but like we can elaborate more about on the Azure part. Okay, and this Azure can be used to replace or supplement your on-premises servers to create a hybrid environment. Let's say you have a kind of on-premises server and you want to elaborate or extend to your the cloud environment. You can on-premises plus cloud. Okay, so what are the benefits of Microsoft Azure when you are going for Azure? So what are the benefits we will be getting it, or advantages we can say? Okay, it's like mostly it's a very flexible environment. We can like we can move our resources up and down whenever we need it. Let's say like I have a database. Okay, and like in the Christmas time or something, like the database will be used more, so I can like I can assign more resources, something like CPU, memory, disk, everything, something like that. Okay, whenever I don't want it, I can just pull up down. Okay, so this is like very flexible environment on the resource part. Okay, and it is a very open environment, like it will support almost any OS, language, tool, framework. Okay, it is not like very restricted one. You can have a leverage of using all the OSs, all the languages like a C Sharp, .NET, Node.js, and Python, and and so on. And also from the tools perspective, we can use like a number of tools with this the Azure one, and also the framework perspective as well. Okay, it's a mostly the reliable stuff, like we can Azure like 99.9% availability, SLA, and also 24/7 tech support. The Azure technical support. Okay, and it is the data housed in the geosynchronous across 42 data centers, which is the highest number of data center for any cloud platform. Okay, so only Azure, has the 42 data center across the world, which is geographically synced, geosynchronous. Okay, and in the world, this is the highest number of data center for the any cloud platform. Okay, and also it is a very economical for most of the services. Like we will be like only pay for what we use. Okay, we don't need to buy a subscription for like we don't want the services, something like that. But here, what we are using, we are just paying. That's it. Okay, and on the security perspective, it is there is a multi-layered secure environment. We don't need to worry about like what will happen to my data, what will happen to my service, what will happen to my website. We don't need to worry about it because it's like already the MS, so Microsoft has implemented a lot of the firewall, the and the multi-layered security part. Okay, so it is a very confident one, and also very comfortable one. Okay, and interestingly, 80% of the Fortune 500 companies use the Azure services for their cloud computing needs. So most of the companies, they are like whenever they want to switch to cloud, so first they will prepare the Azure as their the cloud partner. Okay, I hope everyone is clear. So any questions, you can just unmute and you can ask me. So before that, let me move to the another slide. Okay. Fine. What are the solutions offered by the Azure? You would have heard about like PaaS, SaaS, IaaS, something like that. Okay. So we will just see the detailed one. So what is the infrastructure as a service? Okay. So let's say like on our traditional on-premises environment, what we will do, we will buy the servers, we will buy the routers, we will buy the switches, and then we will buy the EMC storage or whatever the NetApp storage, and then we will build our own environment on the on our on-premises data center. Okay, in a cloud, we don't need to worry about anything. We don't need to buy servers. We don't need to buy storage. We don't need to like networks. Nothing. We don't need to buy the operating system license. Nothing. Okay, what we need to do, we will just rent the IT infrastructure servers and virtual machines, storage, networks, operating system from the Microsoft. Okay, on a pay as you go basis. Okay, we don't need to rely about any of the hardware. We can just create a subscription and create our machine. We can just go live. Okay, using this one, and also we don't need to worry about like the patching or the other services for the pass and SaaS. Okay, like the best example for the infrastructure as a service is Azure SQL Server virtual machines. Let's say I will create my own VM on the Azure platform. I will create a SQL server. I will host my databases. I will ask my application to connect on the cloud. Everything will be happen without on the on-premises server. Everything will be happen on the cloud itself. I don't need to worry about my servers, storage, subscription, nothing. Okay, everything will be happen on the backend itself. So this is the the best example for the infrastructure as a service. Okay, We will come to the another point. It is the platform as a service. Okay, what is a platform? Okay, the platform is something like, it is for the complete development and deployment environment in the cloud, and provides a framework that developers can build upon to develop or customize the cloud-based applications. Okay, let's say, on the typical on the traditional environment, what we'll do, we will create a SIT, UT environment or development environment and production environment. We will create like, multiple environment, and we will just promote our applications from, one environment to another environment, and we will just go live. Okay, and also same here, but here we don't need to worry about the backend servers, backend infrastructures. Okay, what we are having is, we are having a platform. We just need to host our applications. Okay, the best example is Azure SQL Database. Okay, so let's say if I want to, like create a database, I can just go to the Azure portal. I can create a database within a 5 minutes. Okay, if it is the on-premises, what I need to do, I need to install the SQL Server. I need to choose whether I need a enterprise standard or developer edition. I need to, like buy a license. Then I need to create a server. So there are multiple underlying infrastructure I need to create before I need to go for a platform. But here in the Azure part, I don't need to worry about my backend infrastructure, because it is fully managed by the Microsoft. I just need to pick up what is the service I want. Okay, and the Azure web application service, it is an environment for you to host your web applications. We don't need to worry about, like, your backend web application servers or front end servers, something like that. That is the best examples for the PaaS, and we will go for the software as a service, which is known as a SaaS. Okay, SaaS solution requires the least management. Okay, we don't need to worry about the managing your software. Okay, we don't need to patch our software. We don't need to upgrade our software, because it is everything. The Microsoft is responsible for manage everything. Okay, what we need to do, we will just use the software as a service. That's it. The best example is our, like our day-to-day activity. We used to have a 365 Office 365, emails, Outlook, SharePoint, Power BI, and Power Apps, Power Flow. Okay, these are all service. Okay, which we are just, create a subscription, buy a license, start using it. That's it. Okay, we don't need to worry about the backend infrastructure, because that is fully managed by the Microsoft itself. Fine then. So anyone have a questions?
I think also the next screen will show us the comparison between the IIS and the PaaS.
Yeah, so we will see the next. Okay, so like here we have given the comparison. What is the IAS, and what is a PaaS, and what is a SaaS? Okay, if you see, like infrastructure as a services, we just need to worry about our application, our data, our runtime, our middleware, our operating system. That's it. Okay, this is the only from the, let's say, end user point of view. The servers, storage, networking, virtualization, everything will be taken care by the Azure, the Microsoft. Okay, so we don't need to rely about on these things. We just need to have our application, our own application, and we need to have our own data and runtime, middleware, and operating system. Only these things we need to worry about it. Okay, we will come to the platform as a service. Okay, here we will just have our application and data. That's it. Okay, in the platform as a PaaS, we just need to have our own the custom application. Let's say, which we have our in-house or the third-party application. We just need to worry about it, and what is the data we are getting it. That's it. These two is our part, and the rest of the runtime, middleware, operating system, servers, storage, networking, virtualization. These and all we don't need to worry about, because this everything is taken care by the our Azure itself. Okay, and on the software as a service, here we don't need to worry about anything, because it's already the bundled software. We will just buy the license or subscription, and we will start using it. Let's say, like we have a 365 Office 365, we can buy the E1 or E3 or E5 license, and we can, and the moment we start we buy the license, we can start using it. That's it. Okay, we don't need to worry about like installation of application, patching of my SharePoint, patching of my like upgrading my SharePoint online. Let's say if there is a exchange fixes, I don't need to apply the fixes because everything taken care by the Microsoft itself. It is the this is the very latest and stable environment from the Microsoft, because Microsoft will take care everything on those side. We just need to buy the service and do it. That's it. Fine then. So we will move to the another slide. Okay, so here this is what is the data service? Okay, see as of now what we seen is the complete overview of the Azure. What are the solutions provided by the Azure? Okay, now we will just come into the data services. Okay, from the data, either the data scientists or analytics or intelligent point of view, what are the services can be used by them to create the better view of their data. Let's say my management want to create some kind of dashboard, okay, from my on premises and cloud data. So what will be my there? Okay, let's say I have a IoT devices which is feeding my lot of the logs to my database. Okay, what will be my access to create the kind of the dashboard and the intelligence. Okay, see on the left hand side you can see your data can be anything. Okay, let's say it can be either logs. Let's say like if we have any kind of IoT devices which is sending a n number of numerical logs. Okay, and your data can be media. Let's say you have any kind of streaming platform. We have the your platform which is having a multiple media resources, and also it can be files. Let's say I have the CMS content management system. I have a n number of files which is which is coming from my application. And the last my structured data. Let's say I have some kind of RDBMS like Oracle, SQL, Postgre, or on the some kind of databases on my premises on premises server. So these are all the my generated data which I am pushing into the my cloud storage. Okay, so this data, this cannot be directly pushed into the in the particular databases. Okay, we should have some kind of, let's say the kind of the ingestion method. Let's say these are all the ingestion method which can be used to integrate our data. Let's say take it from the our applications and put it on the particular the database or storage or Snap Analytics or something like that. Okay, on the ingestion method we will be seeing data factory ADF and data catalog, and also we have event hubs and IoT hubs. These are all kind of the middlewares we can say. Okay, kind of the integration factors. And once we have a kind of integration, okay, on our on-premises to the cloud, okay, where we will store our data. Okay, Azure is providing a lot of the storage options for our. Okay, let's say we can have a Azure data lake. We can have a Snaps Analytics, and we can have a SQL database that is a traditional one. We can use the blob storage, or we can use the Cosmos DB, and also we have another Azure data for the MySQL, Azure data for the Postgres, or and MariaDB. We have a lot more on the data storage side. So we just need to pick up the our data, and we will move to the using the integration part, and we will move to whatever the desired platform. Okay, so once we got our data into the cloud, okay, so let's say I need to do kind of analytics. Let's say we can use the machine learning, or we can use the big data, or we can use the data bricks, or data lake analytics, or we can use the traditional analysis service platform, or stream analytics. These are kind of analytics platform where we will do some kind of transformation on the or we will just feed the analytics into the data. Okay, once we have a kind of analytics, we will take the desired output. Let's say we want it as a Power BI service, or we want it as the intelligence service, and then it will be pushed to either to the applications or any kind of automated systems or to the end users. Okay, this is the complete, like the flow of the data from our applications to the end users. So how it is been moving from the cloud side. Okay, so this is the overall point of view, but today, like we will be mostly concentrating on the SQL parts because, due to the time constraint, we cannot have everything on the today's session. So we will mainly focus on the SQL side, and we will be, looking into the another services on the next session. Fine then. So any questions so far? Mina, you want to add something?
No, thanks. Could you share the QA please from your side? Open it this option.
Okay, so let me just What is this one? I'm not getting it. I think it's already open. It's already open, Mina, I believe.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, fine then. So we'll move to the next slide. Okay. We will first see about Azure SQL Database. Okay. So what is Azure SQL Database? Is a fully managed platform as a service database engine that handles most of the database management functions such as upgrading, patching, backups, monitoring without user involvement. Okay, so let's say, okay, if you see this portal, okay, on the downside of the slide, okay, you are having an option called add. So let's say when I click the add, I just need to feed the database, sorry, my database name, and the resources part and which tier it needs to, and some kind of networking operations, and then it will go on, so that like my database will be created within the 5 minutes or maybe less than that. Okay, so what is the use of that? Okay, we don't need to worry about creating a server, we don't need to worry about like upgrading the server, we don't need to worry about the license, we don't need to worry about the patching. Okay, we don't need to worry about the backups. Okay, and also monitoring. Okay, because this everything will be taken care by the Azure. Okay, we just need to create the database. The moment we create, we start using it. That's it. Okay, Azure SQL Database is always running on the latest stable version of the SQL Server database engine and patched OS with the 99.9% availability. Okay, it's almost like available at the any time. We can like our applications can start using it. Okay, we can use advanced query processing features such as high performance in-memory technologies and intelligent query processing. Okay, we don't need to worry about, sorry, we can use the latest features on the like a query processing and high performance in-memory technologies that are available in the our SQL database. Okay, Microsoft handles all patching and updating of the SQL and operating system code. You don't have to manage anything on the underlying infrastructure. The built-in capabilities provided by the latest version of the SQL Server database engine, they enable you to find real-time performance insights. And also, there is a built-in monitoring capabilities, which is like a which is provided by the Azure. So it will do all like when our database usage is high. Let's say like my write time or like the read time is it is beyond my threshold limit, so automatically I can configure to receive the alerts. Okay, and this is kind of the monitoring feature, and also vice versa for the another resources like a CPU, RAM, memory, something like that. Okay, and all the additional features, we have something called automatic backups. We don't need to worry about like like on-premises backup servers like a net backup. We don't need to configure it because it's everything is being taken care by the Azure point of view. And the next is point in time restores. Let's say like if I want to go back to some kind of the point in time restore, I can go. That is option is there. Active geo replication. Okay, so what is active geo replication? Let's say like I have my database in the east US. Okay, now like I will configure the replication with the like like a West Europe or something like that. So it will be like always it will be in the replicated state. So even if like even if I'm not able to access on the US part, I can able to access from the another replication site. Okay, so this is kind of the integrity to our data where we don't have a single point of failure. We will have a like our data is replicated, so we don't need to worry about our data actually integrity. And auto failover groups. This is also something related to the our replication only, like the kind of the geo replication.
Also,
Uh,
Balaji, for this point, we need to add some point about the data
yeah,
protection.
yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead, Mina. Yeah, this is
Yes,
up to
Azure
you.
constantly already monitoring your data for threats using SQL Server, so you can remediate potential threats in real time with intelligence using advanced threat detection. Especially in Gulf here and all Arab, you need to protect your data and make sure that already data is saved in a saved place, and
Mm-hmm.
already proactive vulnerability assessment alerts. Also, get industry leading multi-layered protection using with the built-in security controls, including T-SQL authentication, networking, and the key management. We will see this one in the demo. These points in the demo. Also, we can take advantage of the most comprehensive complaints or coverage of any cloud database service. This point is very, very critical, especially when you publish or using critical data for your environment or your business. So you need to make sure that already data is a saved place. For the business motivation, you have already different data offering. It depends on the cost, and also it depends on the administration service level agreement. For example, the cost, you have both BAS and IaaS option, including base price that covers underlying infrastructures and alliances. However, IaaS infrastructure as a service optional, you need to invest additional time and resources to manage your database. So it is up to you to how to choose between the platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. It depends on what you will pay and what is your budget, what is your administration and administrative points. For example, with infrastructure as a point, you need to invest additional time and resources to manage your databases. While in a platform as a service, you get these administration features including in the price. Also, infrastructure as a service, you have a tricky point and a big point that we need to consider, that enable you to shut down resources while you are not using them to decrease the cost. Sorry. While platform as a service is always running unless you drop it and recreate your resources again, which is a point very, very important for us. Also for administration point, BAS is an optional reduced amount of time that you need to invest to administrate your database. It also limits the range of the custom administration tasks and the scripts that already can be performed to run. For example, especially in the SQL Server database, CLR is not supported with SQL Server databases, but it's supported for an instance of SQL Server Managed Instance. Also, no deployment option in platform as a service supports the use of track flags. Last point is time and to move to the Azure. It is very, very critical and points that you don't know. For example, you have a big database on-prem and you don't need to downtime a big downtime to move to the Azure. SQL Server and Azure virtual machine is the exact match of your environment. So migration from on-premises to the Azure virtual machine is not different than moving the database from one premises on-prem server to the another one. Also, SQL management instance also may enable easy migration. 3 may take some changes you need to apply before your migration. That is only for the 3 points you take care when you choose between the infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service.
Okay. Thanks, Mina, for the like very detailed information. Okay. So any doubts so far? So can we move to the another slide?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Fine then. Okay. So now we will see the another option on the data side, something called elastic pool. Okay. So elastic pool is nothing but like a combination of database within the pool. Okay. Let's say like I have a kind of a very high demand database, and also I have a very low demand database. Let's say I have like my company. Let's say like this is my e-commerce company. Okay, I have a database which is available for the 24/7 for customers, which have a high load. Okay, and also some databases for the reporting purpose and HR. Okay, and HR and the reporting databases will be used only on the business days. Let's say 9 to 5. Okay, but during that time the resource usage will be high, but my e-commerce platform database, okay, will be always on demand. Actually, it will be using the most high number of the resources. So here we have a like a high usage database and also low usage database. So let's say like if we in the traditional format, I need to assign the resources kind of like let's say 4 core of CPU and 8 GB of memory for the individual databases, which I know my low usage database will not like utilize those resources. So what we will create a something called elastic pool, and we will assign the resources. Okay, so what it will do automatically, Azure will automatically decide, okay, which database have a high demand. It will automatically assign the resources to the database. Okay, and whichever the database is ideal, which will not be using the resources. So this is kind of like a kind of a load balancing of the resources. So that is what called the elastic pool. Okay, Azure SQL Database Elastic Pools are simple, cost-effective solution for managing and scaling multiple databases that have a varying and unpredictable usage demands. Okay, in an elastic pool, multiple databases can share DTU. DTU is nothing but a database transaction units amongst themselves, yes, and when they need, which can result in a better performance and cost savings. Let's say like if it is in the traditional way, I need to buy like let's say the basic or the standard premium for the each database. Okay, I need to pay for that even if my database is not using that resources. But in the elastic pool, I don't need to worry about it because I have a fixed number of resources. So based on my database usage, it will automatically allocate the resources. Okay, so elastic pool is a collection of single databases with a shared set of resources such as memory or CPU, something like that. The benefit of using an elastic pool in Azure SQL Server database is that single database can be moved in and out of an elastic pool, which gives us the flexibility. Let's say, like in my elastic pool, I have a 4 databases. I came to know that like I don't want the one databases to be on my plastic pool, so I can move it anytime. And like later I decide that I need to bring it back to again in the plastic elastic pool. I can bring it up anytime. So this is one kind of flexibility which is on the elastic pool. Apart from these features, we also will be covered like the automatic backup and point in time restores, active replication, failure groups, and these are like the as like the our PaaS platform, like a platform as a service platform. Okay, so I know like at last, so elastic pool is kind of a pool. We will be assigning the resources, and inside the database, let's say like we have 3 or 4 databases which will share the resources based on the demand. Okay, we don't need to assign the individual resources. We will assign to the pool, and based on the demand, Azure will automatically assign the resources to the each database. Yeah, Mina, you want to add anything?
No, thanks. Go ahead.
Okay. Fine then. So, any questions so far? Okay, so we will move to the another slide. Okay, we will come to the another point as Azure SQL Managed Instance. Okay, so what we have seen so far is kind of a single database. Okay, so now we have something called instance. Okay, I hope everyone knows that instance is nothing but a SQL server, like a kind of a container where we can have a multiple databases on the instance part. Okay, so it is something like same like our on-premises environment where we can able to install the enterprise or standard or developer editions instance, and we can create a n number of databases inside the instance. The same feature which is available in the cloud. Okay, but here we don't need to worry about the backend infrastructure because it is already been managed by the Microsoft. We just need to create our managed instance and we will just create the databases. That's it. Azure SQL Managed Instance is the intelligent, scalable, and cloud database service that combines the broadest SQL Server engine compatibility with all the benefits of fully managed and evergreen platform as a service. So again, the platform as a service, we don't need to worry about the upgraded patching, updating, nothing. So it is already available platform. We will just create our instance and start creating our database and connecting to the applications and vice versa. Okay, the managed instance deployment model allows existing SQL Server customers to lift and shift their on-premises applications to the cloud with a minimal application and data changes. Okay, and one of the best future is, let's say like I have the on-premises server with the 10 databases. Okay, so what I need to do, I will create a managed instance on the Azure platform. I will just lift my databases on the on-prem and I will shift to the cloud. That's it. Okay, so I think we have some tools like Mina for the
Yes,
moving from cloud to on-premises to
the
cloud.
data migration assistant is a free tool that you can use it to migrate from on-prem database to the cloud direct.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a DMA tool like the data migration assistant, which is the free tool from the Microsoft side. So which will be like leveraging our on-premises data to move to the cloud. Like it will just do the compatibility check, something like that, and then we
Yes.
can just move it with the minimal application changes.
The benefits here is it is check all and compare the compatibility between the on-prem SQL Server instance and the Azure SQL Server instance, the new one. And
Exactly.
you can extract the reports that already have all details about what you should do. For example, some features are not available or new features should be replaced. The benefits also in this tool that you already give you the solution to how to solve this option on this Eurostep procedure, views, queries, integration service, some things like that, or SQL Server jobs already you scheduled. Give you the best practice or best solution to solve it before going to the Azure service or Azure SQL Server direct.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mina, thank you. Then, okay, SQL Managed Instance process all PaaS capabilities like automatic patching, version updates, automated backups, high availability that will drastically reduce management over the TCO. Okay, so we don't need to worry about like the again the PaaS environments because it is in the already the Microsoft Azure. Any questions so far? Okay, so we will move the next part as SQL Azure VM, and then we will quickly jump into the demo part. Okay, now okay, SQL Server VM is something like like in the on-premises environment. What we'll do if let's say like one of your the application team is coming and say like I need a database server. So what we'll do, we will create either in the Hyper-V or VMware. We will just create a server and we will just install the SQL Server and we will hand over to the applications team. So same way in the SQL Server also, first we will create a virtual machines, okay, using the Azure, and we will just have the SQL Server on the virtual machines. Okay, so we can have our SQL Server and also host any of our services also, we can host it on the same server itself. Okay, so this is something like the same like on-premises server which we are creating on the Azure platform, the cloud platform. SQL Server on Azure Virtual Machine enables you to use the full versions of SQL Server in the cloud without having to manage any on-premises hardware. Yeah. So hardware part we don't need to worry about because this is everything taken care by the Azure platform. SQL Server virtual machines also simplify licensing cost when you pay as you go. Like like we don't need to buy the licenses for the OS and SQL Server something like that because it's everything like in the model of pay as you go method. SQL Server Azure virtual machines can use automated patching to schedule the maintenance window for installing important windows and SQL Server updates automatically. Okay, so here we can like automate our patching schedule for Windows and SQL Server. So we don't need to we don't need to take care about the patching and all because this is the automated schedule on the VM itself. And then SQL Server on Azure virtual machines can take advantage of again the automated backup which regularly create the backups of your database to blob storage. Okay, on the SQL Server VM we have two methods of pricing model. One is something like the pay as you go, and the what is what we are paying, sorry, what we are using, we will just pay and go. Okay, and another model is buy your own license. Sorry, bring your own license. Let's say like if you have a your own license on the SQL Server part. Let's say you have a 2016 or 2019 enterprise license. You don't need to buy the again license on the Azure part. You can just use your license code on the SQL VM on the Azure, and you can just use it. You will be just paying only for the server, not for the SQL Server. I think
Also, the good benefits here that you can install SQL Server on Microsoft Windows or on Linux. Already in the marketplace, you will find a lot of virtual machine that already ready to use it directly, having SQL Server Enterprise Edition, SQL Server Development Edition. Already you create a virtual machine on only 5 minutes using all this one. The benefits here also on this one for virtual machine infrastructure as a service, you can shut down this machine once you don't need it. For example, you need to have SQL only one day per month, so you don't need to create a managed instance or elastic pool. You can create a virtual machine that have already SQL Server installed on it, open it in this day, and once you finish, you can shut down this machine. So you will pay only for this one day. This is a big benefits for infrastructure as a service. Go now to the demo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll be moving to the live demo part. So it's back to Mina. I think Mina, you can just take your control.
Okay. Once you log into the portal for portalazure.com, you can log in using username and password. Here we will create a single database on a SQL Server. For example, we create a resource, and from here you find databases. Here we can find SQL Server Managed Instance, SQL Database, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Database for Postgres, MySQL. Now we will take SQL Server. We need to create a single database that already we can connect to it, only one database. But first we need to create a SQL Server instance that already we try to connect to it. So first of this step, we choose our subscription and resource group that already will control all our resources in this area to control all of this service related to each one. Then we choose database. For example, let's take it Azure Heroes. SQL Server, we don't have a SQL Server. Let's create a SQL Server to connect to SQL Server. This one is a small. Here we can add the admin user, password. This is a SQL Server that already we create to publish or create a database on it. You choose the location. We'll choose East US and click OK. Once it is finished, now we have two options. Want to use SQL Server Elastic Pool or not? This is the option, as we said in the presentation, we can create a Elastic Pool. But for now, we will create it as a single database. And next step, we'll create an Elastic Pool database. For the configuration side here, you can configure to which size and you know how much you will pay every month. The default one is general purpose for this one. This is the number of cores we will have, total number of gigabyte for the database maximum size. You can decrease it and it will affect the total size. But for our we can choose the basic one, which will you pay $5 per month, the total amount for this demo, and click apply. Next, you can configure the network issue. Network configuration. Next, additional, we'll keep everything as it is. And tagging, no problem. Here you can choose your collision for database and create this one. Once it is created, we can connect. We'll try to connect to it, and we can see how to configure the security securitize for your SQL Server direct. It may take 2 minutes maximum. Benefits of SQL Server here, you couldn't connect until you give the IPs. You already could try to connect to the SQL Server and access the database, your databases. Otherwise, you couldn't connect from any side. You have two options to configure to add IPs or range of IPs you have, or you can add some service like Azure Data Factory, Azure Event Hub, something like that already can connect to or access your database. Now we can see that already the SQL Server is created. Also the SQL Server here, 2 steps or created, and last one to create this database direct. Once it is created, we can access it. Also, you have option to use a template database like Adventure Work databases. Already you can use it direct, so you can create it on your version on your instance and use it direct. Done. Go to resource here. Here we can see all the configuration or all the details about this one. This is the server name, not Elastic Pool. The total number of databases should be displayed here. Also, you can have connection string for you can use ODBC, GDBC. All of this configuration you can use it now. Now we try to connect to the database or the SQL Server from SQL Server Management Studio. We'll put this one here and using SQL Server user we already created. Once you try, you couldn't connect here because already our client IP not disabled to connect this one. Go back to the SQL Server configuration here, and we can configure it from here, I think. Security, I search for security. Security Center. Sorry.
Go to the firewall rules.
Where it is?
No, I think it's in the firewall rules. Firewall rules, yes. Go to the database.
Database, SQL Server, okay.
Click.
From here we can find this one, the resource group already we have. We can connect to the SQL Server we already created. And here in firewalls here,
Yeah.
Firewalls and virtual machine, we can add our IP. Client IP, this is my IP, we can add this one. And save it. Let's try again now. So it is login to SQL Server. Here we have a new database. So if we try to check the SQL Server we have installed here, it is slow because already we take the basic tier with lowest configuration, so it will affect the performance. You can create your tables, views, whatever, and you can import the data direct. If we check the SQL Server type, it is Microsoft SQL Server Azure 20 February this year. Now we already created the first database, single database. Let's go again and create another one to create Elastic Pool database. From database here, we can create database also, but this time we will create an Elastic one. We'll choose the same configuration resource group, database name, let's and we'll choose the SQL Server already we have now. We don't need to create another one. But here we can create, we choose the option SQL Server Elastic Pool, but we need here to create Elastic Pools that already will contain all our databases. Also, the configuration that here we need to choose it. Let's go also and take the basic one. We can decrease or increase as you wish to use. Let's take this one, or this is the size, maximum size for the database. Apply, review, and create. So in the same server, we will have two databases. One is Elastic Pool, and the other is single database. The next step, we will move this one from the single database to be on the Elastic Pool. Once this is finished, we can see the post of databases. In this step, we create storage because it will use a specific storage for your Elastic Pool to save your databases. So it may take time. I think it is already ready now. If you go back here and refresh, so we have two databases. This is one is a single database and another one is elastic pool database. Now let's go to move the single database to if you go to the SQL Server here, we will find two databases. This one is online and basic. The other one is elastic databases here. Now you can create a new database from here. You can create new elastic pool. Now we need to move these databases from Azure, from a single database to be elastic pool. I think it was sorry, Balaji, it was from
The elastic pool.
yeah, this one, elastic pool and database.
The settings. And the elastic pool settings. Top. Down. Yeah, settings. Just up. Where is settings? Or configure? Click configure.
No, this one.
Go to configure.
This is a configuration for the elastic one. It was from this one, databases.
Yeah, database, correct.
Yeah, this is now from here you can add a database. Now this is a database already found in our elastic. If we need to add a new one, we can click here. You will find the single database, and once it is added, we can save your configuration. Now both of these databases will be configured on the elastic pool that already we have. The last step we can here do it for now. We can create a managed instance from this one, Azure managed instance. Also choose your resource group, the name of managed instance. Configure the region. Sorry, the compute storage. Keep it as it is. Here also and this one will take time to create, and this is the total cost you'll every month. It will take time until it finish, but now we can check the last one, the already deployment for this one to moving the single database to elastic pool. If you refresh it again, you will find the two databases here, but this one is in our elastic pool, because our time is go. So if you have any question, I already finished the demo.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you for your time, and hope you see you again in the next session. Okay.
So thanks everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for joining this
Thank you,
beautiful session. So we'll see you on the next session. Thank you. Thanks Mina. Thanks
Thank
Susan.
you.
Thanks Malia. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.